Welcome students for today's lecture on design of compression member. So before starting, let us discuss what are compression members. Compression members are the members which take the compressive force. Like for an example, in a truss, as we had already discussed in a tension member, in a truss we have a combination of tensile and compressive members. So the members which take the compressive forces are called as compression members. So they may be in a truss as well. So we call the compression member as the strut. As we call the tension members as tie, we call the compression members as strut members. So you can easily identify that strut members are nothing but the members which take the compressive forces. Also, in a building, if you say column which is vertical in direction, and the loads from the slabs are transferred to the beams and then to the columns. So even the columns are nothing but the compressive members. So let us today discuss about the design considerations as per IS 800-2007 for the compression member. To begin with, we will discuss about the angle strut. So as I discussed already, the strut is an inclined member subjected to an compressive load, and the section may be different types of sections, may be angle section, channel sections, a number of sections can be used for the compression member. Even when we are designing a column, there may be a number of different sections which can be used. Now let us see the most important part of the members. In the design of compression members, the most important part is the effective length of the member. So if I take an angle section and a strut, then the effective length of the strut. Now this is in according with the connection. Angle with single bolt, effective length is taken as L only. Angle with more than one bolts, we take it as L is equal to 0.85 L. Angles having a connection with welding, we take it as L is equal to 0.7 L. And the important component to be found out here is the slenderness ratio, which is nothing but LE by R minimum, or as per the code book KL by R minimum. So if you happen to see, we are having a slenderness ratio is equal to lambda is equal to LE by R minimum. This we have already seen in the design of tension member that it should not be greater than 180, that is taken from the provision given in the IS code. So radius of gyration is given by root of I by A, where I is moment of inertia and A is the total area. Now let us discuss about the compression member design. In the design, the most important part is the effective length of the members, so of the compression. So this is the table given on page number 45 regarding the effective length of the member. So here we have diagrams. These diagrams indicate, so say for example, this is a diagram wherein the member is fixed at one end, free at one end. So this is taken effective length as 2L. Here you can see one end fixed and one end hinge. So this is 0.8 L. This is both ends fixed, so 0.65 L. This is both ends hinged, so 1 L. So this is the effective length which are to be taken into consideration. Okay, this is the first part. Then let us discuss about the contribution of the components. So let us come to the design of compression members. So this is a design of compression members. So you can see design strength. How is the design strength given? Common hot rolled and built up section members used for carrying axial compression usually fail by flexure or buckling. The buckling strength of these members is affected by residual stresses, initial bow and accidental eccentrics of load. To account for all these factors, the strength of the member subjected to axial compression is defined by buckling class A, B, C or D given in table number 7. Now this is very important because for the classification we need to classify the members according to the class. Okay, now here you can see buckling class. So we have buckling class A, B, C and D. So this is the class alpha. This is with respect to the type of section. Here you can see the classification of section is different by classes A, B, C given in table number 10. So if you happen to go to table number 10, here we can identify, this is table number 10 where it tells the classification of cross section, and here you can see the buckling class. Now for example, if I take an example of I section, so I may be classified as A, B, C or D. Say for example, if I take angle section, so it is classified as buckling class C. So this is very important to find out the classification of section. And the design compressive strength is given by P less than PD, which is nothing but PD is equal to A into FCD, where A is the effective sectional area and FCD is the design compressive stress, which can be obtained from the tables. Which are the tables? So these are the tables. Say for example, I want to find out FCD, so this is the table. To find out FCD, I need to have a lambda value and a Fy value. So depending upon that, we have to compute the Fc value. So same thing I have written it here. So the design compressive strength PD of a member is given by PD is equal to A into FCD, where area, effective area of the section, as per the clause 7.3.2, it depends on the buckling class and the type of the section, and FCD compressive stress which is obtained depending upon the buckling class from the compressive strength tables. So this is it. Thank you. Be home, stay safe.